Hello, everyone. We're just gonna give a minute or two so people can come on in the room here. All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to Technology Tuesdays, the first social media September. My name is Lydia Nimke, and I'm very excited to bring you today's presentation all about Facebook. So just a little bit of housekeeping. You all are muted and have your cameras turned off by default. But if you have any questions, please enter them into the Q&A box that should be somewhere at the bottom or top of your screen of your Zoom window, and they will be read aloud, and I will do my very best to try and answer them for you. With us today from the library, we have Beth Gabriel with us.
Hi, everybody. I'm hanging out in the background. I'll be reading your questions out loud to Lydia, so make sure to put them in that Q&A box as she goes along. Happy to be here.
Thanks, Beth. And I will also be sending you out a follow-up email with a link to a recording of today's Tech Tuesday, so no need to take any super extensive notes or anything like that. You will have a recording at your disposal. All right. So I've broken today's presentation up into a few major concepts, and we will have demonstrations following each section. So it's going to be quite the demonstration heavy Tech Tuesdays. First, we're going to talk through Facebook in general. So exploring what the homepage looks like, looking through your friends list, exploring your profile. Then we'll go on to talking about sharing things on Facebook. We'll also talk about communicating via Messenger and comments and posts. And then at the very end, we'll talk a little bit about privacy settings and how you can set them to best keep your information shared with only the people you want it to be shared with, of course. And just a note on scope, I have to let you know that Facebook is a huge topic. It could easily be a multi-week or semester-long course if you really wanted to get into the nitty-gritty of it all. But today I'm going to be talking about personal Facebook accounts for individual users. I'm not going to be talking about creating groups or business pages or brand pages or the connected applications that go along with it. I'm not going to be talking about how to gain friends or monetizing your Facebook account or Facebook gaming or Facebook TV or the whole gambit of other things that Facebook has its fingers in. If you are interested in any of those things, there are so many other much more knowledgeable people than me on the internet that can talk about these things in super duper detail. If you are curious, you could definitely do a search on YouTube, and I'm sure you'll find a lot of them. And I could probably even recommend a few of them to you via email if you are interested in one of these subjects that I'm not able to cover today. That's definitely something you could let me know via email or in chat, and I'd be happy to do that. Another disclaimer, I'm also going to be showing my personal Facebook account as part of today's demonstration. So I can't fully account for the things you may see while I'm showing, other people's posts. So I do apologize in advance if you see anything that you may deem offensive. I doubt there will be anything that's super terrible, but just fair warning that I'm not in control of all the things you might be seeing today. All right, I'm going to turn off my camera so you can see the full slide here. All right, let's jump in. All you really need to get started is an email address or phone number, I believe, that you have access to. And then from there, you can really just sign up for your Facebook account like you'd sign up for any other thing on the internet. And then you'll create your Facebook profile and start filling it out. Once you've done all of that fun setup stuff, Whenever you log in, you're going to see your homepage and navigation. All of these screenshots are coming from the website version of Facebook on the computer. So just so you have that kind of background knowledge going in, this is from the web version. So this is where you'll see all of your navigation for getting around on Facebook, access to your own profile, top here. And your navigation pretty much is going to be along the top and along the side. Things are often in more than one place on Facebook. So for example, you have marketplaces here, marketplaces also over on the side here, groups is here, and groups is also on the side here. So there's that duplication. So wherever you normally go to find something, you can continue to go there. Um, just know that it is available in two places depending on what page you are on. Moving on to the news feed. So if you scroll down that homepage we were just on, you are going to find things like the publisher for creating your own posts, stories from your friends. You'll see the access to the groups and pages you manage over here. And scrolling on down for infinity, you'll see posts from your friends and people you follow, and some ads, and potentially, pages that you might be interested in following if you haven't followed very many pages or people yet. Now, when you share information about yourself, like when you post an update or post pictures, things like that, they'll be added onto your timeline on your profile page. And your profile page is accessed pretty much from any page on Facebook by clicking where you see your name and profile picture. There are a couple of different parts to the profile page, and we'll go through them a little bit more in the demo. Let's zoom in here. So you can see here, these are all separate parts of your profile that you can view and have access to. Scrolling a little bit further down, you can see more posts that are on my Facebook page, as well as access to the friends list. Your friends can share posts on your timeline. It's kind of another way of communicating directly. Most commonly, when it's your birthday, your friends will write on your page, "Happy birthday, hope you have an awesome day," things of that nature. Or they can tag you in a post they are sharing so that it shows up on both your profile as well as theirs. For example, my friend Becky and I were working on this program, and she shared it and tagged me in it. And I'll show you how to tag a person in a post. And now it appears on both of our profiles. So hopefully lots of people came to that program in January. Now notifications. Notifications are generally, something you want to take a look at. It's something to be brought to your attention, right? And they appear as red bubbles with numbers over them for the different areas with which they correspond. But the most important one I've just kind of blown up for you here from this section over here is the messenger notifications and the general bell notifications. Messenger notification means that someone has sent you a message on Facebook. So someone is directly trying to get into contact with you specifically. And the general notifications are, could be a variety of things. Someone has liked something you've posted, or commented on something you've posted, or responded to a comment. But generally, someone is interacting with something you have shared or put on Facebook. So those are the two most important to, look at if you're going to look at any of the notifications. Now, on mobile devices, Facebook and Facebook Messenger are pretty much available on all of the internet connected devices you can conceive of for the most part. The interfaces may look a little bit different, but the icons are the same. Where you go to access certain functions is going to be more or less the same no matter where you use it. Facebook is really good about creating this kind of seamless transfer from the web version to the mobile application, to the iPad app, and so on and so forth. They're really good about that. So it might feel a little bit different, getting used to your phone's gestures and the application and so on and so forth. But the icons, where you go, what things are called, is going to be pretty much exactly the same. Like I said, I'm going to be showing you mainly the web version today, but if there is anything you're specifically wondering, like how does that look on the phone, I can definitely show you that as well. I have my phone right here on standby, ready to go, if that is of interest. So let's jump into our first demo to show you all just the kind of lay of the land in Facebook here. All right, let's refresh our page. So, like I mentioned, right when you log in, you're going to be taken to the home page. You have your navigation up at the top for pages, watch, marketplace, news, access to your profile, a menu, and this is just more proof that Facebook is a lot of stuff going on in the background there. Access to Messenger, your notifications, and your account settings as well. Again, lots of that stuff that we just went through is over on the left-hand side there. We also have some shortcuts, so things you frequently visit, um, pages you frequently go to, groups you manage, things of that nature. And then scrolling down, we have our news feed, and this is a whole variety of information, mainly things I'm interested in, more or less. And now, this goes on forever. Like, you know, I've never reached the end of it ever since it started going in this function. So now we'll move on to the profile. And let's see here. Click on your name. Anywhere you see your name, you can click on it to access your profile. So we're looking at the post section right now, and you can scroll down and see all the things that have been posted to my profile. Again, we're seeing our friends, some life events. This is pretty general, what you think of when you think of Facebook for the most part. Moving on to our about section, this is strictly like biographical information. So facts about me as a person. And you can fill this out as much or as little as you'd like. It really is just helpful for, if someone is searching for you and there are a ton of Lydia Nimkes, they can see that, I am the Lydia Nimke from Milwaukee who went to UWM in 2011. So they can be pretty sure it's me if they, have a question of me. Moving on to friends, you can see your friends from work, high school, the city you're in, your hometown. You can kind of change how you look at the friends you have, and you can also just search for a friend if you're looking for a specific person. Now, the photo section, there are kind of two categories of photos. There are photos of you. So these are photos I have been tagged in because I am in them, but that someone else posted to Facebook. Right? So they're not my photos, but they're photos of me. And there are also photos that I have taken and posted to Facebook. So these are my photos, and they're in a section called Your Photos. If I was ever in a photo that I did not want to be in, so say this one, this is my colleague Becky again. If I was ever in a photo I didn't want to be in, I could untag myself from this photo quite simply, and remove that tag, or I could probably ask the person to remove the photo if they were a good friend. They would remove it. This one's cute, so I don't have any problem with it being up. You also have your story archive, and again, a whole lot more that shows you Facebook is a very complicated beast. All right. Now we're going to jump back into the presentation unless there's any questions about this kind of initial exploring Facebook phase.
So far, I don't see any questions in the Q&A. Oh, Arlene would like to know, is there any way to set the newsfeed in date of entry order?
That's a great question. Let's see here. I know you can do it for groups, but I don't know that you can do it for your newsfeed. Yeah, I don't think that you can do that on your newsfeed, but I will look deeper into that and just make sure I'm not missing a button or something and get back to you, Arlene, about that. That's a good question. So my answer for now is I don't believe so, but I will double check and make sure for you. All right, moving on to sharing. So there are so many different types of different ways that you can share on Facebook. So probably the oldest way of sharing on Facebook, that has been around for the past, I don't know, 15 years or as long as Facebook has, is posting updates. Now, a status update is a short, usually text-based post that your friends can read and comment on. When you post a status update, you just click in the text field of the publisher to post it, and it'll appear on your newsfeed, on your friend's newsfeed, as well as on your timeline. Now, to post on a friend's profile or timeline, it's pretty much exactly the same as posting a status update. You just go to your friend's profile and use the publisher located on their timeline to post on their profile. And it's important to note that these updates are generally, you can change the privacy settings. We'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the presentation, but they're kind of meant to be more public. They're kind of meant to be more viewable by your friends and your friends' friends, as opposed to some of these other forms of communication. And this is a quick shot of what the publisher looks like. I'll definitely be showing some of the features in this demonstration coming up. It's at the top of your news feed, and it's on your profile page. It's on all of your friends' profile pages. And this is kind of the start of sharing a lot of things on Facebook. You can share photos and videos from this section as well. You just click the photos and video button right in the middle of the screen, and you can upload items from your computer, your mobile device. You can also share live videos as well as feelings and activities. Now, sharing isn't limited just to the things that you create, you originate and put on Facebook. You can also like, comment, and reshare the posts of your friends and the pages you follow on Facebook. Just going to click the share button that you're going to find at the bottom of public posts. Regardless of how and what you share, every action you take is recorded in your activity log. And this is something that only you can see. And it's accessed, you know, either through your profile or through your account settings. And it gives you a really good image of just how much reach the things you share have. You can delete things from this activity log, and that will remove them from your timeline and any other place they may have been posted. So if we just zoom in on the screenshot here, under each activity, we can kind of see who that activity is visible to. So I searched Facebook for a bookshelf. That's only going to be viewable to me. I liked a post in a group I'm in called Women Hiking in Wisconsin, and everyone in that women hiking group can see, you know, anything I post in that group, of course. I also commented on a post of that same friend of mine, and that is viewable to both that my friend, Becky's friends, as well as the person she tagged in that post. So it's viewable to quite a few more people who I probably don't know and have never met. So it's not anything to really be concerned about, but it's just good to know that you can see the reach of your post. If you're ever curious about it, um, you can take a look in the activity log. And of course, if you don't want it to be viewed by anyone outside of, say, um, just your friends, you can always delete that post from here, and Facebook will take it down from everywhere that it has been shared to. Okay, so getting into the publisher here. So, like I mentioned, super easy. It says, "What's on your mind, Lydia?" You can just click in that box and start typing. Obviously, it'll say, "What's on your mind, Arlene," or Gail, or whoever is going onto Facebook to post something. And you can just type what's going on. You can add a background if that is something you're interested in, or keep it plain. You can always add a photo. And once we click add, these are all pictures I have on my computer that I can go ahead and add into this post. Pretty simple, like you would upload pictures most places. And I can also tag a friend in this post. So you can do that a variety of ways. Down at the bottom, there's a like little price tag attached to a, figure that's supposed to represent a person. It says tag people. You can click there and search for your friends to tag them like that. And you can also put an @ sign and then start typing their name, and they'll come up that way. Any name that's highlighted in blue is a person you have tagged. And then you can just post this, and then it'll show up on your profile page and in your friends' news feeds. Pretty, pretty fun, pretty simple. Of course, the puzzle has nothing to do with Tech Tuesdays, but bear with me. It's just an example. You can also reshare things like we spoke about. So we see the share button down here. I can press share and I can have all of these options to share this post. So I can share it now, which means it pretty much instantly shares it into my friend's news feed. I don't need to add any, any editorialization about why it's valuable, what I think of the subject. I'm just instantly sharing it. I can share it to the news feed and write something about it. That's the second option. I can send it in Messenger if I wanted to share it with a specific person. Or I can share it to a group. Say this was a picture of me hiking instead of a picture of a puzzle. I could share it to that Women Hiking Wisconsin group. Or I could share it to a page or share it specifically on a friend's profile. Right. And now we are going to take a look at that activity log specifically. So we can go to our profile, and in this ellipses menu, we can go down to view the activity log here. And we can see that I added a new photo and it's visible to my friends. We can see again, I did some searches that are visible to only me. I liked an Amazon publishing post that is visible to the public. And if I wanted to remove this post I just did, again, we're going to go to that ellipses menu. And we've got a couple of options here. We can hide it from my profile. We can move it to archive or move it to trash. Trash. And it's not going to be viewable anymore, which is pretty cool. It means you don't have to track down where the things you've shared have ended up. When it may be months after you've shared them, you can just go into your activity log, filter by date for whatever you're looking for. Maybe you had some choice words for a company you didn't work for and now you're applying at that company, something like that. You can just go by that and filter it out and remove that post. All right. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the different ways we can go about communicating with our friends on Facebook. So one of the simplest ways is by liking and reacting to the posts your friends are making. You can choose to like a post to show your friends that you enjoyed what they shared. You'll just click the like button, which looks right like thumbs up in a blue circle. Or instead of liking a post, you can respond with reactions, which are just these different emoticons here. It was really cool when they first added these to Facebook because it had been like 10 years or however long of, people posting very, not great things about how they're struggling or how they, just got their car stolen and, you just like that they got their car stolen. That's not actually a good thing to do. Instead, you can show that you're mad they got their car stolen or that you care about them. So that was a really great update that Facebook did a few years ago. But by that same token, if you don't want to use all the reactions, most people who've been on Facebook for any substantial period of time know that liking doesn't necessarily mean I like that you got your car stolen. It's more so of an acknowledgement that I read what you just posted and I support you, or, a sentiment of support, if you would. So you can just like a post if you don't want to go through all the reactions. And you can also leave a comment on their post if a like or a reaction doesn't quite get your point across or you want to give more information or more input. leave a comment on a post. You just type it into the comment box you'll find below the post and press enter on your keyboard when you're ready to post it. You can comment and tag someone in a comment using that same @ sign or the symbol that looks like a person with a price tag on it. You can post photos and comments. You can share addresses and locations, things like that, kind of just like you would with a publisher. And Facebook Messenger is a pretty much allows you to communicate in real time using Facebook. It's the private message portion of Facebook. On the web, it kind of is more or less like old school instant messaging or old school chat rooms, depending on, how many people you're talking to at once. And on the phone, it's pretty much just like text messaging. Now, as I mentioned, it is a separate application that you have to download on your mobile devices, but it's all integrated on the web. So it's all, in one space on the website. If you want to download Facebook on your device, but don't want to get Facebook Messenger for whatever reason, if you don't have the space or if you're not interested in, kind of texting back and forth with people, messaging back and forth with them, you don't have to get it to use Facebook on the mobile device. If you ever try to, it'll just prompt you to download Facebook Messenger. Like I mentioned, I can show you that if you're curious, if you have never seen it before. But it's literally just called Facebook Messenger. All right, so before we go into privacy settings, let's take a look back at Facebook so we can look at some of these likes and reactions. So just as I mentioned, you just hover over that like button and we can just press the like if we just want to like it, or we can do any of these other reactions. Now, this post is private, exclusively for the members of this plant club group I belong to. So I can't reshare this post. It is just for the people who are in this group I'm in. So I don't see that share button. But if I scroll down a little bit, I'm seeing that share button pop up, pop up, pop up. So I can click to share any of these posts. Now, Messenger on the web, it's pretty much just a list. If someone, interacted with me personally, um, it pops up from the bottom of your page, pretty much like that. Otherwise, you can open up the Facebook Messenger to give it the full reign of your web browser. And you can search through for messages you have sent in the past or people you have chatted with. And it really does look like an old school, like chat room almost. And you can create new messages and they can be to multiple people. So you can kind of have your own chat room vibe, which is very nostalgic. Okay. And for the last kind of big picture concept for today, we're going to talk about privacy settings. And these are super important. And they're important because you're sharing personal information. Um, whether it's that you've just left for vacation or that you just bought a new car Inevitably we share personal information on Facebook, and anything you post could be visible to people that you don't necessarily know. There have been a lot of cases of embarrassing or unflattering posts negatively affecting people's personal and professional reputation, where people have, been reprimanded by their jobs or fired, or, students who have gotten their acceptance to colleges revoked or gotten scholarships taken away because of something they posted on Facebook or social media. And there are also, as we talked a lot about last week, third party websites and applications that are accessing and sharing information from your Facebook account. So you want to make sure your privacy settings are in line with like how you want the information you share on Facebook to be dispersed, kind of. So you're just aware of where things are going and how you can change them if ever come into a situation where you have to take more control over how the information you put out there is used. So there are kind of four basic privacy settings, and they can get more complex and customizable. But you can limit who can see what you can share to only you, and that's, the smallest circle, of course. Only you can see the thing you've just shared. I don't personally know why you would share it at that point, but I'm sure there's some reasons why someone might do that. You can share with lists of friends to help keep sensitive information from some people. So if you're planning a party for a group of the folks at your job who are retiring this year and you want to share it with everyone but those 4 or 5 people who are retiring this year, it might be great to make a list of all the people you work with except those 4 people. And the most common option is to share with all of your friends. Obviously, if they're your friend, you've probably already vetted them to a certain extent if you consider them your friend. Um, well, perhaps not in every case. There are some people with like 8,000 friends, and I'm sure they haven't met them all. But I can't personally speak from experience to that since I have met almost everyone, I think everyone who is a friend of mine on Facebook. But presumably, they're more than just a random internet stranger to you. So you can just share with all of your friends. And public, which is the least secure privacy setting, which shares information with everyone on and off Facebook, really. Because you don't need a Facebook account to look at someone's profile. You need an account to interact with it, to like things and put comments on it, but you don't need an account just to see what people are posting. So if you have your top level settings set already, you can still and always individually change the settings for each individual post. So each time you want to share on Facebook, you can set the individual privacy settings for that specific post. I like that you can share some things with specific friends. So if it's a really inside joke that only you and your, 3 besties from high school are going to get any enjoyment out of, maybe you just share it with them. And the last thing we'll talk about before our last demonstration is unwanted communication. So when you're dealing with a disagreeable person on Facebook, or someone whose opinions you just disagree with, or you just find this person annoying or upsetting, you have 3 options in general to handle this. You can unfollow them, you can unfriend them, or you can block them. Now, a lot of people might opt for unfriending first, but I think that's a mistake because not a lot of people know about unfollowing. and unfollowing is usually more than enough. Unfollowing wasn't always an option on Facebook, so I'm not surprised that most people, will just unfriend someone when they're tired of seeing whatever they're posting about. Key difference is between unfollowing and unfriending is that when you unfollow someone, you are still friends on Facebook. You can still look at each other's timelines, you can still tag each other in posts and pictures. It just means you don't automatically see any of their posts unless they specifically tag you in them. So you either have the option of snoozing them, which unfollows them for 30 days, or you can even unfollow them permanently. Unfollowing tends to result in, fewer hurt feelings, and some people can get upset about Facebook friends, which, because your friend will never know you unfollowed them. They'll never realize that you unfollowed them. You're still friends. Unfriending is when you have decided that you no longer want to be this person's friend and want to sever the ties that bind you on Facebook. And it's possible that they'll find out you unfriended them and their feelings will be hurt. Eventually, they may try to tag you in something or check your timeline, and they'll see that they can't, right? And when they are like, why can't I tag Lydia? They'll go to their friends list and they'll see that Lydia's not their friend anymore. And, I think a lot of the emotion that comes with unfriending may come from the word friend itself. Like unfriending probably wasn't a thing 20 or so years ago, but it's possible that you're going to hurt someone's feelings if you unfriend them. If you don't care about their feelings anymore, that's when we go on to blocking. And this is that nuclear option. That should probably be the last resort, which is mainly for people who are like abusive or who you just don't want to see any sign of, and you don't want them to see any sign of you on Facebook. This blocking someone says that you don't want to be their friend and you don't want to be able to interact with them at all. When you block someone, if you have a mutual friend, neither one of you will see the other one's post made to a thread on that friend's timeline. Other non-involved people will see both of your posts, but you won't see each other's. Blocking is also super useful in groups when there's a person or group of people that post every day and comment on every single thing and they're just bullies or trolls. Just block those people and it'll make the group so much more enjoyable. So let's pop into Facebook for the last time and talk about unwanted communication. So I am on my husband's profile page, and we can see he has more or less the same areas as we do on his. And if we click on the friends button, we can see our option to unfollow or unfriend him. Okay. And I have unfollowed so many people over the last 2 years, it's not even funny. So, whatever makes you happy, I'd say definitely unfollow people if you're getting stressed out on Facebook. And then, as far as blocking, you have to go over to the ellipses menu. And it makes sense that blocking is in a different area than just unfollow or just unfriend because it's a little bit more serious of a matter. And at the bottom of this menu is the block button. If you block someone, there's a chance you might be reporting them as well, whether that's to the administrators of the group you're in or to Facebook itself. That's why I think they put block in a little bit of a different area because it's kind of more serious than just, I don't really want to be your friend anymore, or I don't want to see anything you post. Okay, and I think that is all I have for you. If there are any more questions, I am happy to take them, and I am happy to go over anything I may have gone too quickly through or anything I didn't quite cover that you were hoping I would.
I don't see any questions anymore, so feel free to quick drop those into the Q&A if you still have them. Yeah.
Cool beans.
Mhm. Something that just happened to me on Facebook over the weekend was somebody I'm friends with got hacked and sent me a weird Facebook Messenger message. So I'll be careful of those too. I just deleted it and didn't click on the link because it didn't seem like something they would have sent to me in my Facebook.
Super key. If it doesn't feel right, it probably isn't.
Yup. Okay, I see some questions. Arlene would like to know, how do you tag someone?
Sure, Arlene. So, how can I use you as an example, Beth?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So, I'm going to go back into Facebook here. We're going to go to the home page and you can tag someone in a status update, right? You can tag someone in a comment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tag Beth in this status update. And it's going to be the exact same way as I would do it in the comment. So all I'm going to say is hi at, I don't know if any of you knew this.
That's me.
That's her. And you just put the @ sign followed by, start typing their name. I can tag multiple people in one post. Again, I'm just going to go @ sign and start typing his name, and then he should pop up, and then I can click on him. Okay? And then I just will post that. And both of them will see that as a notification that I just posted,
Yep.
something with them in it. I, was purposeful to ask Beth that I could post something because I don't ever just want to be posting stuff that is associated with her and, her not want me to do that. So consent is kind of important with that. Most people don't just have their Facebook open that you can tag them in any old thing, and
Yep.
but some people may. So you kind of, your relationships with your friends better than I ever could. But yeah, me and Beth work together, so
Yep.
I wouldn't just post stuff to her without her permission.
I appreciate that.
Of course, dude.
Yeah, and something else that we have one more question that I see, but something I'll just add. I'm a parent, and when I'm posting about my kids on Facebook, which I don't do too much anymore, I did more years ago. It's also something to have a discussion with if you're, say, watching the grandkids or with somebody's kids. When in doubt, don't post kids that aren't your own, especially photos on Facebook. And again, just
Absolutely.
talk with your friends and family about that too. All right. And then it looks like Maureen would like to know, what is the edit friends list? Sorry, plural.
Sure. From the I know it was on a slide I had. Give me a second.
No problem.
Edit friends list. Are you talking about the custom lists you can create, Arlene? I would assume so. So these are, again, those custom lists that you can make to versus unfollowing. Edit friends list versus unfollowing. So are you talking about unfriending versus unfollowing? Sorry, Maureen. Have to ask so many qualifying questions. I'm such a librarian.
Would it be making like a special friend list that would include like your coworkers that only they can see? Is that what maybe?
Potentially. Why edit list versus unfollowing people? So edit list is more, thank you so much for clarifying, Maureen. I very much appreciate you. So making a list is more so for what you are sharing and you're wanting to share to specific people and not to others, right? And unfollowing is you don't want what they're sharing coming on to your news feed, your page that looks like this, right? So if I'm like done with this plant club and I just want to unfollow it for a little bit, I can just stop seeing this plant club post come up on my news feed. Whereas if I wanted to create a specific list to share with my planty friends that I had made from the Greater Milwaukee Plant Club, I could create that as well. I hope that makes some sense. I kind of talked around myself there a little bit.
That made sense to me.
Okay. So yes, edit list is for what you're sharing out and unfollowing is for what you're receiving in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I don't see any additional questions on that.
Wonderful.
Anyone else have any questions?
Wow. If you have any more questions, I'm going to be sending out a follow-up email on Thursday. My email is there, so you can always email me. Oh, Facebook part 2. Arlene, you'll have to tell me what else you're interested in learning about. You want to get more in detail? You can definitely, you have my email address, Arlene. Please tell me what more you want to know, and I'd be happy to get into it. But that goes for everyone else as well. There's my email address. If you want to email me before I send out the follow-up email, I'm working, so feel free to hit me up. Also, you can check out npl.org/calendar for all these awesome events we are doing. I think Wednesday we have a book chat with our own librarian author, Amelia.
That's right. She is a historian and wrote a book about tattooed women and people in history. And she is a tattooed librarian herself. So we'll be interviewing her at 6:00 tomorrow. I can drop the link to that in the chat or send it. Maybe Lydia will send it out to you in the email.
You can absolutely send it out. Yeah, totally.
Let's see. Susan had one more quick question.
Yeah.
Can they share a message from Facebook to people not on Facebook?
No, not really. I mean, there's some workarounds if you really wanted to do that. But there's no like seamless way to just share a message or share a post from Facebook to people who are not on Facebook at all. What I would say would be the easiest thing to do is if it's something like, an affirmation or something you really want to share with someone who's just not ever going to be on Facebook, I would maybe consider just like if they're with you, just showing them, or you can take a screenshot, but that can be varying levels of complicated if you're not used to taking screenshots on your phone or on your computer. So yeah, sorry, Susan, not really. There's no really easy or seamless way to do it. Thank you for the question, though. Thank you all for the questions. I really appreciate it. Okay, dokie.
Cool. I think that looks like it.
Sweet, wonderful. Next week, we'll be talking about Twitter.
Woohoo!
And we have, a professional tweetress.
I like using Twitter. No, you can't follow me.
So I hope some of you will join us for that one. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.